Hello and welcome to FTTR, I'm Ewan McQuaid, and today I want to talk about cinematic matches. Now, cinematic matches have sort of become a staple of pro wrestling during the COVID pandemic, whatever you want to call it, era of wrestling. AEW have put some on, Impact have put some on, WWE have put some on, Ring of Honor have put some on. And do I think that that's going to continue when fans come back? Sorry, I've just got my mic in a really awkward position. Let me just move that to the side. Will they come back? Now, first of all, we've got to look at the cinematic matches and look at the quality of content that they've been putting out. We sort of go by company here. Let's start with AEW. AEW, I think, put on my favourite cinematic match, if you want to call it that, which was the Stadium Stampede. I thought that was brilliant. I thought it nailed a comedic tone. It wasn't to be taken seriously, but it was like the Avengers airport fight in Civil War. It was incredible, and I loved that match. I still go back and rewatch that match. One of my favourites. I even loved the Darby Allin Sting street fight. I thought that was really inventive. You could tell that was Darby Allin's fingerprints sort of all over that match. And I think it made Sting look badass, because I don't know how he is in the ring. I know he took the powerbomb, but if you can protect him in these matches, I think that might be better. So I think AEW have knocked out some quality matches cinematically. Let's not talk about Britt Baker versus Big Swole. That was terrible. That was really bad. So AEW, I'd say, have more or less nailed cinematic matches, apart from that one. WWE, I think, have very hit and miss. You know, the Swamp Fight, terrible. God awful. Firefly Funhouse, amazing. Really inventive, really creative. The Boneyard match was okay. It was okay. I won't say it was amazing for Undertaker's last hurrah, but that was okay. And even in NXT, you know, I really, really didn't like the one final beat Ciampa Gargano match, and I really didn't like the Adam Cole Velveteen Dream street fight match. Didn't get on with either of those. So I think WWE have sort of, in spaces, they've come through on cinematic matches, but I think their track record's a bit iffy. And finally, the one that I can remember because it's so recent to my mind is the Matt Taven versus Vincent match, which again, I wasn't a massive fan of. I didn't think that particularly worked, and yeah, it wasn't for me. That wasn't for me. So do I think that cinematic matches are going to continue? I think it entirely depends on the creative behind them. I think, you know, Matt Hardy was doing cinematic matches way before, you know, the pandemic era of wrestling. He was doing the final deletions, the ultimate deletion with Bray Wyatt. I can't remember which way around they were. And even going back so far as the Mankind Undertaker Boiler Room Brawl, that started off kind of like a cinematic match, and that's sort of the evolution of the match itself. So going forward, I think we will see some more, and I think it's just trying to make them as creative as possible. I think WWE tend to veer towards they need to be wacky and goofy, whereas I think they need, if they're taken seriously, like the street fight, it can work, but also it can be goofy. They tend to associate cinematic matches with the supernatural. That's WWE's format. You know, you can think of quite a few. You know, House of Horrors as well. A lot of Bray Wyatt stuff has been cinematic matches that are stuck in my memory. But if they take it more seriously, I think they could be onto a winner there when it comes to telling cinematic matches. Because Bray is a phenomenal storyteller. He's really, really creative. Letting him have free reign with a cinematic match, I think, would be really beneficial for The Fiend. Don't want to go on about The Fiend again. So, looking at the various characters that we've got in the landscape of professional wrestling at the moment, do I think any of them will benefit from a cinematic match? Maybe to help get them over in a particular way. I've already said I think Sting benefits a lot from this style of match. I think he looks badass, particularly the dim lighting on him. He looked really cool in that match. He's one who I think really does suit that style. Other than that, in AEW, I don't really know. Maybe Abaddon. Maybe stick Abaddon in a cinematic match. See how spooky that gets. That could be interesting. But I think AEW have got a really good blend of talent who could sort of diverge from being comedy into serious. I mean, you see it with Jericho. Look at Jericho, look at MJF. They're doing really well. They're playing, the line between funny and insanely serious. And in WWE, I'd be interested in seeing Xia Li, maybe, in a cinematic match. And that sort of eeriness, spookiness. I'd probably like to see Aleister Black do something in a cinematic match, if we ever get to see it. Like him actually come onto the main roster properly. He's been gone for so long. But yeah, there's a few characters who I think would suit a cinematic match. And I don't think this is the end of cinematic matches. I think we are going to see more. I hope we see more personally, because it adds a nice little bit of flavour to the product. So let me know what you think about cinematic matches. Do you like them? Do you want to see any more? Let me know down in the comments and I'll reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much and have a nice day.